Hi everyone, and welcome back to the official channel of LegalEdge. Now, before we start with our session, just do give me a tech check. Just let me know in the chat box whether I'm audible or not. Audible and visible too. चलो फिर let's start with our discussion about today's session. And आज हम primarily discuss करेंगे नीट के पेपर लीक को नहीं, ठीक है, कि नीट का पेपर कैसे लीक हुआ. अब ये सारी चीजें तो आपको पता होंगी, must have read that in the newspaper, and along with that, that is not specifically something which is important for the purposes of your legal reasoning under the CLAT examination. है ना, पेपर लीक कैसे हुआ, क्या हुआ, वो चीज जरूरी नहीं है. But the primary question which you have to discuss about over here is the Public Examination Act of 2024 enough to stop these kind of activities, है ना. अब 2024 में भी जब नीट को लेकर कंट्रोवर्सी इरप्ट हुई हमारी कंट्री में, ठीक है, एंड द मैटर वेंट टू द सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ इंडिया एज वेल, वहां पर पार्लियामेंट ने उस साल एक लॉ को बनाया विच वाज द पब्लिक एग्जामिनेशन प्रिवेंशन ऑफ अनफेयर मीन्स एक्ट 2024. एंड इस एक्ट को बनाने का प्राइमरी पर्पस या प्राइमरी कंसर्न यही था दैट it was basically enacted for the purposes of stopping these kind of activities only, which recently happened with the NEET examination this year. कि पेपर लीक हो जाना, पेपर में चीटिंग कंडक्ट होना, पेपर में किसी भी तरीके के अनफेयर मींस को अगर कोई इंडिविजुअल यूटिलाइज करता है. इंटरेस्टिंग चीज इस एक्ट के अंदर क्या थी, दैट इज द इंडिविजुअल हु इज resorting to unfair means, along with that any service provider, ठीक है, any service provider who is engaged in providing any kind of a service with respect to the conduct of the examination, अगर वो unfair means को utilize करता है किसी भी स्टूडेंट को बेनिफिट प्रोवाइड करने के लिए, या इवन एनी सिंडिकेट इज इन्वॉल्व ओवर देयर, मतलब कि ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम की तरह से अगर इस तरीके के अनफेयर मीन्स को कंडक्ट किया जाता है, all these individuals were punished according, or any kind of an act of unfair means which was resorted by these categories of individual was made punishable under the act of 2024. but फिर एक्ट बनने के बाद भी आज भी ये चीजें क्यों होती, एंड इस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे प्रिवेंशन ऑफ अनफेयर मीन्स एक्ट, दैट इज द पब्लिक एग्जामिनेशन प्रिवेंशन ऑफ अनफेयर मीन्स एक्ट के हिसाब से व्हाट इज द काइंड ऑफ पनिशमेंट व्हिच कैन बी मेटेड आउट टू दीज इंडिविजुअल्स. ठीक है, देखो एक चीज जो पब्लिक एग्जामिनेशन एक्ट ने क्लियर कर दी थी, दैट द ऑफेंसेस अंडर द एक्ट आर cognizable, these offenses are non-bailable, and these offenses are non-compoundable as well. So the act actually deals with these kind of activities of unfair means in a very strict manner as well. But फिर भी examinations में पेपर लीक होना, cheating conduct होना, that is not something which is inevitable in our country perhaps. It should be stopped. It should be stopped. It should be thoroughly punished as well. Because imagine the plight of the students who were preparing for past 1 year for an examination, or for past 2 or 3 years for an examination, and the examination at a certain point of time gets cancelled. तो कैसे लोग मुश्किल से तैयारी कर पाते, कैसे लोग मुश्किल से प्रिपेयर कर पाते. But still the paper mafia or the education mafias in our country, that is something which are not worried or concerned or deterred with respect to the laws which are created by the parliament. But let us understand कि prevention of unfair means or the public examination prevention of unfair means act exactly है क्या. तो देखो currently हुआ क्या, या आज हम क्या डिस्कस करेंगे, we'll be discussing about the current context जिसकी वजह से ये लॉ वापस न्यूज में आया, and इस लॉ के क्या क्या प्रोविजंस थे. So what happened was on 3rd May NEET undergraduate program entrance examination was actually conducted. ठीक है, but कल on 12th May the National Testing Agency, which is the body conducting this examination, cancelled the NEET UG exam for the first time since its 2016 inception. 2016 में इस एग्जाम को फॉर्मुलेट किया गया था, एंड तब से लेकर इस बार पहली बार उस एग्जामिनेशन को कैंसिल किया गया, which affects over 22 lakh candidates. ठीक है, करीब करीब 22,05,000 बच्चों ने इस एग्जामिनेशन को दिया था. So that is the amount of the students which are getting affected by this thing. And the primary reason for the cancellation of the examination was alleged paper leaks and vitiated examination process. अब पेपर लीक की बात बाहर आई कैसे, किस तरीके से? तो देखो, malpractices were flagged on May 7th after a PDF file circulated on social media. ठीक है, एक PDF फाइल सोशल मीडिया पे सर्कुलेट होना शुरू हुई जिसमें ये कहा गया कि गेस्ट पेपर के नाम पे एंटायर पेपर ऑफ नीट वाज एक्चुअली लीक्ड. फिर राजस्थान में एक तो पता नहीं क्यों इस तरीके के कॉन्सेप्ट्स में या इस तरीके के इश्यूज में ना राजस्थान एज ए स्टेट हमेशा इन्वॉल्व हो जाता है. ठीक है, एंड दैट इज समथिंग राजस्थान को लेकर हमेशा ही, चाहे वहां के स्टेट लेवल के एग्जामिनेशन हो या नेशनल एग्जामिनेशन हो, perhaps the state government of the state of Rajasthan is supposed to take strict actions and to resolve the systemic issues जिसकी वजह से पेपर लीक या ये सारी कंट्रोवर्सीज में उसका इन्वॉल्वमेंट आता है. तो राजस्थान में क्या हुआ है कि एक स्पेशल ऑपरेशंस ग्रुप को क्रिएट किया गया व्हिच रिकवर्ड अ गेस्ट पेपर containing 410 questions of which 120 questions appeared in the actual exam. एक गेस्ट पेपर जहां से सर्कुलेट होना शुरू हुआ वहां पर 410 क्वेश्चंस थे उस गेस्ट पेपर में, बट उसमें से 120 क्वेश्चंस एज इट इज एक्चुअल पेपर में आते हैं. And then comes the investigation when CBI registered an FIR for criminal conspiracy, cheating and breach of trust, and the provisions which are invoked over there included the provisions of Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita and the Public Examination Prevention of Unfair Means Act 2024. तो BNS के अंडर भी ऑफेंस को रजिस्टर किया गया एंड ऑफेंसेस वर रजिस्टर्ड अंडर और चार्जेस वर इंक्लूडेड फ्रॉम द पब्लिक एग्जामिनेशन प्रिवेंशन ऑफ अनफेयर मीन्स एक्ट 2024. नाउ व्हाट इज दिस पब्लिक एग्जामिनेशन प्रिवेंशन ऑफ अनफेयर मीन्स एक्ट 2024? जब 2024 में नीट की कंट्रोवर्सी सबसे पहली बार बाहर आई, ठीक है, जहां पर 720 में से 720 बहुत सारे बच्चों के नंबर आए, एंड उस साल की कंट्रोवर्सी के बाद पार्लियामेंट में इस एक्ट को पास किया गया था टू स्टॉप दीज काइंड ऑफ एक्टिविटीज. ठीक है, so this public examination act was basically an act to prevent the use of unfair means in job recruitment exams or any other public examination. ठीक है, this law was primarily created for the purposes of stopping unfair means. unfair means है क्या, तो अभी अपना आगे समझेंगे कि किस तरीके की एक्टिविटी को unfair means कहा गया है इस एक्ट के अंडर. But this act was primarily created for the purposes of preventing the use of unfair means in the job recruitment or any other public examinations. And this was brought to bring greater transparency, fairness, and credibility to the public examination system. But perhaps the act has failed in its objective. ना credibility तो अब जब नीट आपको कैंसिल ही करवाना पड़ जाए तो भाई credibility तो किसी तरीके की बिल्ड हो पाई होगी. But this was the primary objective with which the Act of 2024 was enacted. And the name of the act is the Public Examination Prevention of Unfair Means Act 2024. अब इस एक्ट के अंदर ना टोटल 15 तरीके के एक्शंस को अनफेयर मीन्स की कैटेगरी में इंक्लूड किया गया. So if any of these acts are resorted to by any individual or any service provider or any other syndicate as well, that is something which is made punishable under this act. ठीक है, अब किस किस तरीके की एक्टिविटी को अनफेयर मीन्स की कैटेगरी में लाया गया? So 15 actions that amount to using unfair means in public examination for monetary or wrongful gain are made a punishable offense. इनमें से किसी भी एक्ट को अगर आप कमिट करते हो for the purposes of gaining any kind of a wrongful gain or a monetary gain, that is a punishable offense as per this act. So this include leakage of question paper or answer key or part thereof and colluding in such a leakage. अगर आप क्वेश्चन पेपर लीक कर रहे हो या क्वेश्चन पेपर के अलावा आप आंसर की को लीक कर देते हो या आंसर की या क्वेश्चन पेपर के किसी पार्ट को भी लीक कर रहे हो, और इफ यू आर पार्टिसिपेटिंग इन दैट लीकेज, दैट इज कंसिडर्ड एज एन अनफेयर मीन्स. ठीक है, एक्सेसिंग और टेकिंग पोजेशन ऑफ क्वेश्चन पेपर और ऑप्टिकल मार्क रिकग्निशन रिस्पॉन्स शीट और OMR शीट विदाउट अथॉरिटी. ठीक है, द क्वेश्चन पेपर आर गिवन टू द ऑथराइज्ड इंडिविजुअल्स ओनली. इफ यू आर ट्राइंग टू गेट एन एक्सेस और इफ यू आर एक्सेसिंग और टेकिंग possession of the question paper or the OMR sheet without authority, that is also something which will come under the category of unfair means. Similarly, tampering with the OMR sheet, answer sheets including the optical mark recognition response sheet. किसी भी तरीके से आप किसी कैंडिडेट के आंसर शीट के साथ या OMR शीट के साथ आप टैंपर करते हो So जैसे this can also be one of the ways of cheating in the examination, where you ask the candidate to leave the OMR sheet as blank, and the examiner or any other person will fill the circles. That amounts to tampering with the OMR sheets or the answer sheets. That is also considered as an unfair means under this act. Similarly, providing solutions to one or more questions by any unauthorized person during a public examination. कि एग्जामिनेशन के टाइम पे अगर आप किसी पर्सन को आप आंसर्स डिक्टेट करते हो या आंसर्स बताते हो, सॉल्यूशंस बताते हो टू वन और एनी मोर क्वेश्चंस, दैट विल आल्सो कम अंडर द कैटेगरी ऑफ अनफेयर मींस. डायरेक्टली और इनडायरेक्टली असिस्टिंग द कैंडिडेट इन अ पब्लिक एग्जामिनेशन. किसी भी पब्लिक एग्जामिनेशन में इफ यू आर असिस्टिंग अ कैंडिडेट आइदर डायरेक्टली और इनडायरेक्टली, that is also something which will come under the category of unfair means. Then, tampering with any document necessary for shortlisting of the candidates or finalizing the merit or the rank of the candidate. Tampering with the computer network or computer resource or a computer system. Online examinations we conduct होते हैं. So if you are tampering with any kind of a computer resource or a computer system which is being utilized for the purposes of conducting an examination, that is also something which will come under the category of unfair means. क्रिएशन ऑफ फेक वेबसाइट. नाउ दिस इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग जो हमारी कंट्री में होती रहती, ठीक है. क्रिएशन ऑफ फेक वेबसाइट्स एंड कंडक्ट ऑफ फेक एग्जामिनेशंस, issuance of fake admit cards or offer letters to cheat or for monetary gain. All these acts are considered as an illegal act or unfair means. तो अगर कोई भी इंडिविजुअल, कोई भी सर्विस प्रोवाइडर who is engaged in providing services for the purposes of conducting a public examination, or if individuals are working as a syndicate for the purposes of doing these kind of activities, that is something which is made punishable under the Act of 2024. Are we clear? तो unfair means में ये सारी चीजें आती हैं. But whenever this unfair means is being utilized for the purposes of or in the public examination, then only it is punishable under this act. अगर किसी स्कूल में, प्राइवेट स्कूल में, स्कूल के यूनिट टेस्ट में या उस स्कूल के half yearly examination में ये सारी चीजें हो रही हैं, that is not something which can be brought under the purview of the act. When these unfair means are being resorted to in a public examination, that is something which will invoke the sections or the offences of this act. तो public examination होता क्या है? So that is something which is defined under the section 2K of the act. So any examination which is conducted by public examination authority listed in the schedule of the act, or any such authority as may be notified by the central government. ऐसा कोई भी एग्जामिनेशन जो एक पब्लिक एग्जामिनेशन अथॉरिटी कंडक्ट करा रही है, विच इज लिस्टेड इन द शेड्यूल ऑफ द एक्ट. सो इस एक्ट में क्या किया गया है, एक शेड्यूल प्रोवाइडेड है विच गिव्स अस द लिस्ट ऑफ अथॉरिटीज, ठीक है, विच गिव्स अस द लिस्ट ऑफ अथॉरिटीज. सो एनी सच एग्जामिनेशन विच इज कंडक्टेड बाय दीज अथॉरिटीज will be considered as a public examination. ठीक है, any such examination which is conducted by these list of authorities, that is something which will be considered as a public examination. या those authorities which are notified by the central government. So एक तो list provided है, list के अलावा अगर central government किसी authority को notify कर देती है under the act, तो वो authority फिर जितने भी examinations conduct करवा रहे होंगे, that will be something which will come under the category of public examination. And the use of unfair means in the examinations which are conducted by these authorities, these listed authorities or notified authorities, will invoke the provisions of this Act of 2024. Okay? So there are 5 authorities which are listed under the schedule: Union Public Service Commission, Staff Selection Commission, Railway Recruitment Board, Institute of Banking Personnel Selection (IBPS) and National Testing Agency. जितने भी examinations ये agencies conduct कराती हैं, these examinations will fall under the category of public examination. And doing any of those 15 listed acts in the examinations conducted by these activities which involve or which that will amount to punishable offense. Up, who all can be punished under the Act of 2024? So individuals, service providers and organized crime. It deals with all these 3 categories of wrongdoers: individuals, service providers and the organized crime. And according to section 9, all the offences are cognizable, non-bailable and non-compoundable. Cognizable का मतलब there the investigation officer can arrest the individual without obtaining warrant from the magistrate. That's what the meaning of cognizable is. Non-bailable, it simply means that bail is being given at the discretion of the court, right? That is that there is no right to be released on bail. Whether the person will be granted bail or not, that is dependent upon the discretion of the court. उसको नॉन बेलेबल ऑफेंस कहा जाता है. So the offenses are non-bailable and non-compoundable. Non-compoundable means that there can be no settlement which can be reached out between the parties. Okay. Up. What is the punishment which is given over here? Okay. So punishment can also be divided into three categories. Punishment which is being given to the individuals, punishment which is being given in cases of service providers, okay, where the unfair means is being used by a service provider, and punishment which is to be given in case of an organized crime, जहां पर एक syndicate पूरा का पूरा involved है. Syndicate के लोगों को किस तरीके से punish किया जाएगा. So the punishment is also divided into three categories. Okay. Now when it comes to the use of unfair means by an individual under the act, the punishment which is given over there is, so punishment for any person or persons resorting to unfair means and offences can be 3 to 5 years in prison and a fine of up to rupees 10 lakh. So individuals can be given a punishment of 3 to 5 years plus fine of up to rupees 10 lakh. And the act also provides for that kind of a contingency wherein the individual is not in a position to pay the fine. Then what should be given? Then if the convict fails to pay the fine, an additional punishment of the imprisonment shall be imposed as per the provisions of Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita section 10 of the act says. ठीक है कि अगर इंडिविजुअल फाइन नहीं दे पा रहा है तो फिर उसको उतना पनिशमेंट दिया जाएगा जितना बीएनएस में दिया गया है. दैट विल बी एडिशनल पनिशमेंट और एडिशनल इम्प्रिजनमेंट. This is the amount of punishment or the extent of punishment which is to be given to an individual. Now, what is a service provider is prevent or resorting to any kind of an unfair means? जैसे tampering of a computer source was considered as an unfair means under the act, right? And a legal act. So, if the service provider on whose center the examination is being conducted, if that service provider is making any kind of a tampering with the computer source, or it is altering the arrangement of or the seating arrangement of the student in order to benefit some specific students, then what is to be done? So such a service provider who is engaged to provide support of any computer resource or any material by whatever name it may be called for the conduct of the examination can be fined up to 1 crore along with other penalties. उसका license cancel कर देंगे and so on and so forth. ठीक है, I'm so sorry guys. These are the kind of additional penalties which can be imposed on a service provider. तो 1 crore रुपए तक का fine along with other penalties. That is the extent of the punishment which will be given to a service provider. Now what if it is a case of an organized crime? कि एक syndicate मिलके, माफिया मिलके अगर ये सारी चीजें कर रहे हैं. अभी भी नीट पेपर लीक की अगर आप controversy देखोगे गेस्ट पेपर थ्रू के इशू, so that is not an act which can be committed by a single individual. Yes or no? It has to be a group of individuals which are involved in these kind of paper leakages. है ना? तो अगर ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम की सिचुएशन है फिर क्या पनिशमेंट दिया जाएगा? So the punishment is much more harsher over it. So according to section 11 of the act, the punishment for organized crime will be imprisonment for not less than 5 years but which may extend to 10 years and a fine which shall not be less than 1 crore rupees. So यहाँ पर minimum 5 to 10 years of imprisonment with fine of not less than 1 crore rupees. ठीक है. सो ऐसा नहीं है कि हमारी कंट्री में पेपर से रिलेटेड स्कैम से पेपर से रिलेटेड लीकेजेस के इंसिडेंट्स को मैनेज करने के लिए कोई स्पेसिफिक लॉ नहीं. We have a very specific or a special law which is dealing with these kind of activities and which was enacted in the light of the NEET 202 for controversy only. But perhaps it is the enforcement which is problematic. Perhaps it is the amount of money which actually induces a person to commit this kind of a crime. But now it is the time that the state should severely and properly punish like these kind of incidents which are playing with the future of the students should not go with impunity. It is a matter of the life or the future of more than 22 lakh students along with the struggles and other things which the families must have done and therefore these should not go with impunity. These deserve punishment. These kind of acts actually deserve punishment. But that is the entire issue of the Public Examination Prevention of Unfair Means Act of 2024. I hope the topic is clear. Now the CLAT Toppers Tour of 2026 is on, wherein Gurugram, Patna, Jodhpur, Navi Mumbai, Indore, Chandigarh, Noida, Ranchi, Jaipur, Central Mumbai and Central Delhi are on the list. So do register for the same as well. The registration link is available in the description box. ठीक है? I hope the topic is clear है ना? Session अच्छा लगा हो, समझ में आया हो. To do like the session as well. Rest, तबीयत वगैरह का ध्यान रखिए, आराम से पढ़ाई करिए, and we'll meet soon. Right? Thank you so much everyone. Thank you so much guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.